January 16th, 2026 brought something a lot of people weren't expecting. Nick Vanenbergie, the 24-year-old registered nurse and model from Love Island USA Season 7, delivered a clapback so smooth it had the entire internet doing a double take. Someone on Threads decided to share their unsolicited opinion about his relationship with Olandria Carthan, and what Nick said back reminded everyone exactly why this couple has lasted longer than almost everyone else from their season. We're breaking down what really happened, why people keep coming for this relationship, and the receipts that prove these two are doing just fine without anyone's advice. And if you want to see how this whole situation plays out, go ahead and hit that like button because this story has layers. Let me set the scene for you. Olandria had just walked the red carpet at the 83rd Annual Golden Globe Awards on January 11th, wearing a custom emerald green Cristianso gown that had people calling it one of the most talked-about looks of the night. The trumpet silhouette, the boned corset bodice, the AJ Yaffe earrings, the Anahad diamond collar necklace. She looked absolutely stunning, and Peacock's headline literally said she made heads turn and jaws drop. But here's what got people talking even more than the dress. Nick wasn't standing next to her on that carpet. Instead, Olandria posed with Hudson Williams from Heated Rivalry and told Harper's Bazaar she was manifesting a selfie with the actor. The speculation started immediately. Fans flooded social media asking where Nick was, whether they'd broken up, if something had gone wrong between them. Now, this wasn't the first time people questioned whether Nick and Olandria were still together. During her red carpet interview with the New York Post, Olandria addressed the breakup rumors head-on. She explained that they decided to prioritize their own solo careers first, which means Nick doesn't always join her for red carpet appearances because they're both building individual brands and careers. They're not going to be attached at the hip for every event. That's a conscious choice they've made, not a sign that something's wrong. And speaking of breakup rumors, let's rewind to December 2025 when Nick already shut this down during a video call with Kim Kardashian and her daughter Northwest. North asked him point-blank if he'd broken up with Olandria. His response came quick and confident. "No, I didn't. Nicolandria 4 liters. Meaning for life." That should have ended the speculation right there, but social media detectives never quit, do they? Here's what people need to understand. Nick and Olandria stand as one of only 2 remaining couples from Love Island USA Season 7 who are still together. The other couple? Clark Carraway and Taylor Williams. The season's winners, Amaya Espanol and Brian Arenales, broke up. Chel Vicentini and Ace Green called it quits. Iris Kendall and Jose Pepe Garcia Gonzalez ended their relationship before Iris started dating TJ Palma. Nick and Olandria are beating the odds that destroyed every other couple from their season, and they're doing it while maintaining separate home bases in different states. So now we get to January 16th, 2026. A Threads user decided the world needed their opinion about Nick and Olandria's relationship. They typed out something that would spark the clapback heard around the internet. The comment read, "Olandria can do better than Nick. I like him and all, but he's bad for her brand. I can see her with a millionaire doctor or something." Bad for her brand. A millionaire doctor or something. This person looked at everything Olandria accomplished in 6 months since Love Island ended and decided that Nick, the man who stood by her side through all of it, somehow held her back from success. Let that sink in for a second. They're saying he's bad for her brand when her brand has been thriving since the show ended. Nick's response came simple, direct, and honestly perfect. He wrote, "All she got was a millionaire nurse," with a sad face emoji. Those words said everything that needed to be said because Nicholas Vanenbergie is a registered nurse who graduated from Florida Atlantic University with a nursing degree. At 24 years old, standing 6 foot 2.5 inches tall, he's also built a career as a professional model. Calling himself a millionaire nurse pointed out the absurdity of wanting Olandria with a millionaire doctor when she's with a nurse who built his own successful career and is doing just fine. Now, let's talk about what Nick has actually accomplished, because biographical sources estimate his net worth between $150,000 and $300,000 as of mid-2025. But beyond those numbers, we need to look at what he's actually done. Nicholas Vanenbergie was born on March 20th, 2001 inches, Jacksonville, Florida. His parents Didier and Jennifer Becker raised him alongside his sister Ella in a home that gave him Belgian heritage. Before Love Island changed everything, Nick worked as a model in Japan and had been modeling for Australian swimwear brand Nicolandria since 2021. He admitted in interviews that he was making enough money to travel and do what he wanted, but felt like he had no purpose, just partying and vacationing with no future plan, just going with the flow. The guy didn't even really know what Love Island was before joining the show. Now he's sitting on 1.9 million Instagram followers and 2.5 million TikTok followers. Management companies, Next Model Management in Miami, DT Model Management, and Crawford Models all represent him. He's worked with brands like Guess, Prada, and New Balance while building a presence that goes beyond just modeling. Nicolandria gave him his own collection on their site, where he features Olandria in his campaigns. He's pursuing a DJ career while also running marathons because on November 2nd, 2025, he completed the New York City Marathon with Team Strava as his third marathon overall. One of his previous races came as part of an Ironman competition. His goal for the NYC Marathon was finishing under 5 hours, and his previous marathon times hovered around 5 hours and 20 minutes. If you're impressed by a guy who can model, nurse, DJ, and run marathons, show some love by hitting that like button because Nick's out here doing it all. Swimming added another layer to his athletic background since he trained with Loggerhead Aquatics and competed at the Florida High School 3, a state championship where he finished 11th in the 100 back and 13th in the 200 IM. As of November 2025, he still lives with his parents in Jacksonville, Florida. Not because he has to, but because that's his home base while traveling for work. This makes the bad for her brand comment even more ridiculous when you see everything he's built. Now, let's talk about Olandria, because what she accomplished in 6 months since finishing as runner-up on Love Island USA, Season 7 represents a career most influencers spend years trying to achieve. Olandria Carthan was born on May 29th, 1,998 inches. Decatur, Alabama, and now calls Houston, Texas home after graduating from Tuskegee University with a bachelor's degree in logistics, materials, and supply chain management as a first-generation college graduate. Before Love Island changed her trajectory, Olandria worked as an elevator and escalator salesperson in a job she openly hated. She said she should not be selling elevators because it had to be better than dealing with angry customers every day. When she walked into Love Island USA Season 7, her Instagram following sat at 13,000 people. By the end of that 6-week season, she'd crossed 1 million followers. Today, her Instagram reaches approximately 2 million people, and her TikTok connects with 1.7 million followers. September 2025 marked Olandria's runway debut at the Sergio Hudson Spring-Summer 2026 show during New York Fashion Week, followed by walks in the Off-White Spring 2026 show, the Alexander Wang Spring 2026 show, and the Theophilio Spring-Summer 2026 show that earned recognition from Vogue for having some of the best beauty looks. UGG's 2025 Fluff Mama Global campaign featured her alongside Reebok's Angel Reese 1 campaign. She attended Brandon Blackwood events, the CFDA Awards, and the Bridgerton Season 4 premiere in Paris, wearing a Raoul Mishra dress with a face veil that stopped everyone in their tracks. Matthew and Reginald Reisman, her styling duo, reached out during Love Island itself after watching her on the show and seeing what they described as a standout of grace, integrity, and beauty who really resonated with them. Glamour magazine put her on their cover with Nick in December 2025. Ebony's 2025 Power issue featured her alongside Iman, Tatiana Taylor, Tracy Ellis Ross, Shaquille O'Neal, and Lonnie G. Bunch III. She earned a nomination for the Ebony Power 100 while also appearing in Cosmopolitan, Sports Illustrated, and La Facile USA. The awards and honors that piled up in just 2025 alone tell a story that sounds impossible for someone 6 months removed from a reality show. October 20th brought her recognition in Cosmopolitan's Z-Stars class of 2025 for Gen Z creators who define trends and influence millions. November 8th named her a Route 100 honoree alongside Kamala Harris, Beyoncé, Denzel Washington, and Kendrick Lamar. November 4th saw her attend the Glamour Women of the Year Awards, before December 5th delivered the Women in Business Power and Purpose Award at the Harvard Undergraduate Women in Business Annual Gala. December 29th added her name to the Revolt Power list as a Creators Category honoree alongside Kai Cenat and Drewski. Ad Age called her one of the top 5 breakout creators of 2025 for taking a deliberate approach to transforming momentary fame into a sustainable personal brand. Wikipedia added her to the official It Girl list, right next to Grace Jones, Iman, and Ayo Edebiri. But Olandria isn't just showing up to events looking pretty and collecting awards. She's using her platform to advocate for education and uplift young women in ways that separate her from typical reality TV stars. October 6, 2025 brought her to Affirm Conference's Butterfly Tour stop at Texas A&M University as the keynote speaker advocating for higher education. October 23 put her at ZCon in Los Angeles for an event focused on building a better digital future. September 2025 saw her partner with Microsoft Copilot to highlight Tuskegee University and the importance of HBCUs. And if you think a Love Island contestant speaking at Harvard sounds fake, I'm about to prove it's real. Harvard Business School invited Olandria to speak on December 5, 2025 about leadership, authenticity, and her experience navigating professional spaces as a Black woman in a session titled Forging Her Own Path. Fans nicknamed the event Bama Woods as a reference to Legally Blonde. 6 months after finishing second place on a reality dating show, Olandria stood in front of Harvard Business School students sharing her journey. Digital Brand Architects, owned by United Talent Agency, manages Olandria's career and helped her secure brand partnerships with Amazon, Hyundai, Microsoft, Vaseline, Ino, Shea Moisture, EOS, Raising Cane's, DoorDash, Shark Beauty, Uber, Liquid IV, Kulani Kinnis, Aqua Defeer, Sweetgreen, and Snapchat, including a partnership with Snapchat's CEO himself. NYX Cosmetics brought the most notable partnership when Nick and Olandria collaborated on the Nicolandria lip combo that included 2 butter lip glosses in lava cake and spiked toffee, plus a slim lip pencil in espresso for $15. Hours passed before the combo sold out completely. Not days, but actual hours, triggering back orders before the official announcement even went out, and forcing NYX to announce a restock because of overwhelming demand. They even threw in a virtual fireside chat with the couple as a bonus. When someone claims Nick is bad for her brand, remember he's literally part of one of her most successful brand deals that sold out in hours and required restocking because fans couldn't get enough of Nicolandria. That's not someone holding her back, that's someone adding value to what she's already built. Now let's talk about how Nick and Olandria actually got together on Love Island USA Season 7, because their story isn't what people think. The season aired from June to July 2025 on Peacock after filming in Fiji for 6 weeks, with host Ariana Madix guiding contestants toward the finale on July 13, 2025. Day 1 paired Nick with Bella Walker and Olandria with Taylor Williams in what seemed like standard Love Island coupling until a blindfold challenge changed everything. Nick kissed Olandria in a moment that went viral across social media. Nick later coupled up with Sierra Ortega, while Olandria maintained her connection with Taylor Williams, setting up what looked like 2 separate love stories until Casa Amor arrived, and both Nick and Olandria got eliminated and dumped from the villa. Producers offered them a chance to return if they coupled up together, and they accepted, returning to share what fans now call the iconic Soul Ties kiss that sparked the beginning of Nicolandria. They stayed platonic initially because both wanted to pursue their original connections, with Nick exploring things with Sierra and Olandria seeing where things went with Taylor. But July 2025 brought Sierra Ortega's removal from the show after anti-Asian slur posts resurfaced from her past. Taylor chose Clark Caraway over Olandria, leaving both Nick and Olandria free to explore their connections seriously. During the final week, they became an official couple that fans dubbed Nicolandria. Ariana Madix admitted on AfterSun she wished they could explore their chemistry. Fans created edit videos of their moments together, and watch parties spread across the country as the couple finished as runners-up, while Amaya Espanol and Brian Araranas took the win. Nick said in an interview that in reality, he was her secret admirer from day one, and CNN described them as not just a cultural phenomenon, but a beloved part of reality couple history. Here's what people misunderstand about Nick and Olandria. They don't live together at all. Nick's home base remains Jacksonville, Florida, where he still lives with his parents, while Olandria maintains her residence in Houston, Texas, since they both have jobs and responsibilities in their respective cities. Olandria explained that being from the deep south makes it hard to jump to the west coast because it doesn't feel like home. Going there for work makes sense, but going there to live and for tax purposes doesn't add up. Making a long-distance relationship work while pursuing demanding careers isn't easy. Olandria called the attention and scrutiny draining during their Glamour magazine interview from December 2025. She described constant check-ins, asking how each other's mental state is and whether they're okay, wishing they didn't have to do that as much, but thanking God they have each other because she doesn't know what they'd do without each other when dealing with everything. Boundaries became necessary with fans and media. Nick asks before outings whether they're doing pictures that day. If Olandria says no, Nick becomes the vocal one, telling fans there won't be pictures today. Olandria put it plainly that you have to set those boundaries because some days you really don't feel like engaging with anyone. Nick helps her manage social media stress by literally taking her phone out of her hand and making her put it down when he sees her getting lost in comments and stuck in her own head. Olandria became intentional about controlling her own narrative after realizing how the show edited her story. She described it as the most fun part because at first she felt upset at the thoughts people had about her, then realized viewers were only going off what they were seeing and what they were shown. At that point, it became up to her to control the narrative and show them the real her, the part that's not edited down to fit a reality TV storyline. Accusations that their relationship is fake have followed them since the show ended. Olandria addressed it directly by asking why they would fake something so weird and why they'd get their parents so involved and caught up in their story when it doesn't even make sense. Nick added that they know what they have. Olandria continued by saying none of it is fake or forced because it would be hard to force such a bond for 6 weeks on TV, and people would be able to see through that fakeness immediately. Both mothers started their own bond by talking before they even met in person. When they finally met face-to-face, they loved each other immediately, providing what Olandria called insight or stability for the relationship that helps them navigate everything thrown at them. Nick and Olandria handle opportunities differently. Olandria said she would take her time with back-office things because she's deliberate and strategic about what gets a yes, while Nick admitted he would say yes to everything for events and experiences that come his way. The Snapchat headquarters visit that Nick arranged shows how their different approaches complement each other because that visit led directly to Olandria, landing a partnership with the company that she might not have pursued on her own. December 2025 brought Nick's reflection that things became easier to obtain, and all the goals he had for being a DJ and starting on YouTube got propelled because of the show's success. They complement each other by pushing each other forward and supporting individual goals while maintaining their relationship across state lines and different career paths. Nick and Olandria sparked cultural conversations about interracial relationships and the supportive partnership they model in public, giving their story a layer that goes beyond typical reality TV romance. Olandria opened up about what representing Black women in these spaces means to her. She explained that before they came into this world, Black women already had a label because people are so quick to label them as angry Black women, and she had to put on a strong suit while in the villa. Her relationship with Nick allowed her to let him take the wheel. He helped set up 2 photo shoots for her to model in Europe while she built her career. She explained that she's not just representing Love Island in these campaigns, but also representing Black women who watch her and see themselves in her success. Successful HBCU alumni status gave Olandria a unique position because when you are a successful and gainful HBCU alumni, you get a level of acclaim and opportunity that sets you apart. Articles placed her alongside notable HBCU alumni like Terrence J., Lance Gross, Megan Thee Stallion, Anthony Anderson, Taraji P., Henson, and DJ Envy, pointing out that she made her way onto this same list in only half a year. Her focus on HBCU advocacy and higher education promotion carries weight because she's a first-generation college graduate herself who understands the struggle and knows what that achievement means for communities watching her. Rise. Let's return to that original comment claiming Olandria can do better than Nick because he's bad for her brand and she should be with a millionaire doctor or something. Articles responding to this criticism pointed out that Nick isn't doing too badly in the career department himself. One article stated that Olandria is not just famous because she's pretty, but that her rise is due to clear, meticulous planning, a leaning into advocacy, and an understanding that you don't have to jump at every opportunity to maintain relevance because she and her team are intentional. The real question came down to this. If her success is predicated on her beauty, why does it seem like she's the most prominent alumni of this past season through these past 6 months? That question exposes the weakness in the argument that Nick holds her back. If Olandria's success came from being pretty or being with the right person, she wouldn't be outpacing everyone else from her season who had the same opportunity. Olandria is talented, strategic, hardworking, and intentional about her career. Nick supports her in building that success rather than holding her back from it. Less than a year took her from selling elevators to walking at New York Fashion Week to speaking at Harvard to attending the Golden Globes. She appeared on the cover of Glamour magazine with Nick right there beside her, proving they're building their brands together. January 2026 marks approximately 6 months since the Love Island finale, and both Nick and Olandria continue pursuing individual career paths while maintaining their relationship across state lines and different time zones. They chose not to participate in Beyond the Villa Season 2, a new show following Season 7 Islanders, post-Villa that's set to premiere in 2026 on Peacock, showing they're focused on building careers outside the reality TV bubble that created their fame. Fame, public scrutiny, mental health challenges, invasive fans, and breakup rumors keep coming at them, and they're navigating all of it together while building something real. When Nick responded, all she got was a millionaire nurse with a sad face emoji, he wasn't just defending himself. He was pointing out the absurdity of people who think they know what's best for someone else's relationship based on social media posts and red carpet appearances. The suggestion that Olandria should be with a millionaire doctor raises the question of what a millionaire doctor would give her that Nick doesn't already provide. Nick is building his own career while supporting Olandria's ambitions, helping her set boundaries with invasive fans, taking her phone away when she's spiraling from negative comments, and helping her navigate the mental health challenges of sudden fame while their families love each other and they check in constantly about their mental states. Olandria doesn't need a millionaire doctor to validate her success because she's creating her own success through deliberate choices and strategic planning. She's using her platform to advocate for higher education and HBCUs while inspiring young Black women and proving that reality TV fame can transform into something meaningful and lasting when you approach it with intention. Nick stands right there with her, building his own path while supporting hers. The idea that he's bad for her brand ignores everything both of them accomplished in 6 months. Reducing Olandria to someone who needs a certain type of partner to be successful dismisses everything she's proven about being successful on her own terms. Reducing Nick to his bank account or his profession ignores that he's a multifaceted person with his own goals, talents, and achievements that don't depend on who he's dating. Relationships aren't business transactions. Love isn't a branding opportunity, and reducing Nicolandria's relationship to whether Nick is good enough for Olandria's brand completely misses what makes their connection special to begin with. 6 months since Love Island ended brought Olandria more achievement than most people see in a lifetime, with red carpets walked, magazine covers graced, Harvard speeches delivered, and a brand built that's intentional, meaningful, and impactful. Nick has been there for all of it, not as an accessory or a burden, but as a partner who cheers her on while building his own empire alongside hers. They're one of only 2 couples from their season still together, navigating long distance and demanding careers and relentless public scrutiny while setting boundaries, supporting each other's mental health, and building something real. When someone says Nick is bad for Olandria's brand, the receipts tell a completely different story about a brand that's thriving, a career that's skyrocketing, advocacy work that's meaningful, and Nick right there cheering her on. All she got was a millionaire nurse. And honestly, that sounds pretty good when you look at everything they've built together in just 6 months. What do you think about Nick's clapback? Do you think people need to stop judging their relationship, or do you think there's something to the criticism? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the Nicolandria drama, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity news and reality TV deep dives. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.